Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's start today's video with an announcement. So I'll be starting with a series of videos related to nursing profession in Australia. So this series will not only help the nursing aspirants in Australia but also in different parts of the world to get nursing registration here in Australia and practice as registered nurse. Today's video is the first video of this series, and I'm going to discuss my journey in nursing profession with you guys. So I started my career when I enrolled into Bachelor of Science in Nursing in 2009 in Sikkim Nepal College of Nursing. We have 4 years of bachelor's degree for nursing in India. I think because we have OBS and gynae in 3rd year and 4th year, we also have research and management stuff. So it was a very tough degree to start with, because the first year itself is filled with so much of foundation knowledge, nursing foundation knowledge. All the procedures are taught in the first year, and you are like, it's a big change from, you know, straight out of school to university, and then the first year, I remember when I was in Manipal, we used to have this receptionist, and the seniors were great. Like by the time we reached 2nd year and 3rd year, we had great relationship with them. But there is like huge senior junior thing in India. I don't know how it's now, but when I started my first year in 2009, it used to be like that. But I had really good memories of that. I remember my seniors taking my intros, asking me to sing songs, and doing all this atana atana charana charana. I think all the nursing students from Sikkim Manipal can relate to it. But it was quite fun. First year was quite overwhelming, but as I came towards the end of the 2nd year, that's when I realized that how much I love this profession, and I think I started becoming passionate about, you know, nursing and helping people out more after we had all these placements in different areas like theaters, ICUs, and even in ward, like we were then posted towards, I think, burns unit and all other surgical areas. So everything started making sense as to why we were taught all these procedures in the first year itself. So 3rd year was when we learned about mental health, pediatrics, started with OBS and gynae. Again, the 3rd year was overwhelming because we had so many different subjects. Medical surgical nursing was always there, but then dealing with, you know, all the mental health patients, it was new. I had never seen that in my life. Then I had a friend who was suffering with some mental health issues, so that's when it started registering in my head what it means and how it feels like to take care of a person with that disorder. And I actually thanked God for, you know, choosing me to be in this profession, because I could then look after my friend very well, because I had this nursing background. My favorite year of nursing while I was doing my bachelor's was 4th year of nursing, because we had this subject called research and management, and I just used to love that subject. Like we had this research project wherein I was the team leader, and I had this great team, and we used to work towards finding all this literature review, did pilot study and lots of other things. So it was amazing experience. All those 4 years of my life, it's such a beautiful memory for me. Thank you to all my teachers and friends from Sikkim Manipal College of Nursing. Thank you guys. After I graduated with the nursing degree, I went to Calcutta to look for jobs, and my first job was in Apollo Gleneagles Hospital as neonatal ICU nurse. I had a great experience over there. Like the director of nursing and the other nursing staff, they were really nice to me, and the best part was their orientation program. So they have this 1 week of orientation. Was it 1 week or 2 weeks, I think? But they had this local language classes for us, all these biotech classes wherein they would introduce us with the different machines that they have, and teach us how to operate those machines. We also had drug calculation classes and all the basic first aid CPR classes. So their orientation week for new staff members, it was great. I had a really good experience over there. But after 6 months, I came home for my holidays, and that's when my mom encouraged me to take up IELTS. And it wasn't a very popular thing in Sikkim or Calcutta at that point, and because I have my relatives in Nepal, so I decided to go to Nepal for that. And I think initially I thought maybe I'll go back to Apollo and work, but I wasn't quite sure. But then the IELTS classes and everything took a lot of time, so I had to quit my job in Apollo and I stayed back in Nepal. Initially, when I went to Nepal for IELTS, which is IELTS, it's an English exam that you have to appear in order to apply for Australian student visa, or I think any other visa. You need to give English test. So because I did not know anybody who could provide me with a correct guidance over there, I think I struggled a lot. It took me 6 months to get a date for the exam, and then I did not score 7 each band, which was required for a master's degree in Australia. And I had to give IELTS a couple of times, and every time it would be like overall 7 or 7.5, but I would always end up with 6.5 in writing, and it was very frustrating. So luckily I got my first offer letter for Master of Nursing from University of New England. They accepted my IELTS score of 6.5 in writing, but then when I inquired about this, as in researched about this from a few of my friends who were already here in Australia, they recommended that why don't you come for bachelor's degree instead of master's degree, because number one, with the master's degree it is known as the overqualified certificate or overqualified degree to start your nursing career here if you've done your bachelor's back home. And also the level goes up with master of degree, so maybe there are less number of vacancies available, and so many other confusions. So there was a huge confusion going on in my head. And the University of New England was it is located in Armidale, which is a regional area, and few of the people suggested that it's so difficult to get jobs there. You might end up in agricultural field picking up tomatoes. That's what they told me when I was there. So I was very confused as to whether I should take up Master of Nursing or repeat my Bachelor of Nursing, which I had completed in 4 years in India already. So huge confusion over there. Another thing that I found out about Master of Nursing was that most of the universities, even if they provide the course, they don't provide the registration. So you can do the course, but you have to go back home because AFRA doesn't allow you for further registration and practice here as a registered nurse. So I thought there was no point doing Master of Nursing if I'm not allowed to practice here. And then the bridging program was another option that was provided to me, but because I had given IELTS so many times and I was not able to get 7 in all the bands, so I had no hope with bridging, because with bridging you have to get 7 each band. That registration type or that mode of registration is shut down by AFRA now, because they have started with OBA thing, which is similar to the nursing registration process in UK, I think. But yeah, bridging, I could have done that, but again, I was not confident with IELTS at all. While I was working on my Australian process in Nepal, I also worked there as a nursing tutor for 2 years. So I used to help these nursing students with their registration preparation. So in Nepal, they have this system that you have to appear for an exam before you can register with the council over there. So we used to have this 3 months of course, and I used to deal with different batches at a time. So we used to have a class filled with students, and used to teach them medical, surgical, nursing, foundation of nursing, anatomy and physiology. So this teaching process also helped me a lot towards making my knowledge a bit stronger. Finally, I ended up deciding that I will repeat my Bachelor of Nursing in Australia. So I applied for this post-registration course, which was a 1-year course provided by Flinders University. But then, again my bad luck, I came to know that as soon as the course started, it was shut down again because of various issues. So it didn't run for a long time. Then I approached one of my seniors from Nepal who had actually gone through this Bachelor of Nursing of 2 years in Charles Darwin University, Darwin. So from her, I came to know that those who have done Bachelor of Science in nursing back home, yeah, they can apply for this course, and you'll get 1 year of credit. So you don't have to do all 3 years. You can just do 2 years, get your registration, and then you can start practicing after you get your registration. So then I decided, I will skip everything and just follow this one. I know I am repeating this, but by the end of 2 years, at least I can start with my nursing practice and, have a career in hand, and I won't have to struggle for the registration. I won't have to struggle for the job too much. And obviously the fee factor for bachelor would be a bit less compared to masters, because at that time in 2014, the fee for masters was above $30,000 for a year, whereas with the bachelors it was $24,000 to $25,000. So I decided to take a Bachelor of Nursing in Charles Darwin University. After I came here and started with my course, I realized that even though the foundation of nursing is similar in I think all parts of the world, the practice is very different. Over there, as nursing student, I remember attending hospital 6 days, like Monday to Saturday in a week for at least 5 hours, and we had this internship and this and that. So as a student, I remember doing my cannula, doing my wound care, doing I think all the procedures. I even scrubbed as a nursing student and did NGT insertion, feeding, Foley's catheter insertion, this and that, all sort of procedures as a nursing student, before even I got my registration, because that was allowed under the scope of practice for a student nurse. Whereas here, when I came, it was very different. It was very, very different because as a student, you basically observe, and also you don't have to go to hospital every day. So they have certain units for which you need practical assessment done, or you need to do 1 month, just 4 weeks of hospital placement or clinical placement, and there before that there's just 1 week of simulation wherein they'll teach you about the different rules, regulations, scope of practice, and few of the nursing procedures. So you kind of as a nursing student learn all other procedures in the hospital, but basically you do observation, you help your nurses, your preceptors, but then everything has to be done under observation. In India, when I was a student nurse, I remember one incident when we had this earthquake, like huge earthquake in 2011, I think it was, wherein our STNM emergency was flooded, and lots of the students were volunteering, and we used to have, you know, cannulas in our pocket, and as soon as the patient would come out of the doctor's room, or as soon as the patient's received and we have a doctor's order in hand, we would start the treatment. And although our preceptors and facilitators were always there around us, they were like the greatest help, but we, I think, worked more independently there. Over here there's lots of restrictions. You can do certain things only after you have your registration, and only after, as a staff as well, you need to do competencies for everything. You need to do competencies for competencies means you have to show that particular procedure to your senior for say 4 to 5 times or minimum of 3 times before you are considered competent enough to practice it independently. So as a student nurse, you don't do much, you just observe, but after you get your registration and this and that as well, you have to practice under your scope of practice. I remember over here as a nursing student, once I suggested a nurse about a medication, and I had a terrible experience after that. But then the good part was my facilitator was very supportive of me, and you know, we discussed about it, and she just did not blindly scold me just because my preceptor complained about it, but she listened to my part as well. I think, which is again different in India, because you have this again junior senior thing, and yeah, different practice there. But over here you are considered human, and you are listened to, you have your rights as a student as well. And then you have all these debriefing sessions that goes around, and you have a whole list of what you can do as a nurse, what as a nursing student, what you can't do as a nursing student. You have a whole scope of practice, and I think this scope of practice thing is a good thing as well, because that way you're ensuring the quality of care, quality of nursing care to for a patient, because if you are not competent to provide a certain care, there is a risk of mistake, and then that mistake can even take a life away. So I think it's a good practice to have a scope of practice in place for nursing students and staff members, nursing staff members as well. So that was the difference that I learned. So I think all the countries, they have certain rules and regulations in place for a reason. So everything has pros and cons. I won't say that, you know, the nursing practice here is best and over there was worse, or over there was best or here it's worse. They have their own merits and demerits. Towards the end of my bachelor's degree here, there was a unit which helped us to apply for grad nurse program. So graduate nursing program is like professional year, but it's not a compulsory thing, so it's your wish whether you want to do it or not, but it looks good on CV, so I applied for it. I got the grad nurse program in both the hospitals here, like Royal Darwin Hospital and Darwin Private Hospital. But in Royal Darwin Hospital at that time, they had this criteria that you need to be permanent resident, which I did not have because I was on student visa. So I opted for Darwin Private Hospital. The interview for for the grad nurse program was about 45 minutes, and they asked me about scenario based questions, and if this is the situation, how would you react as a nurse, what will be your first step, questions like there were 5 scenarios given, so prioritize which patient will you treat first, those kind of questions, which were very clinical based questions. It was very interesting, the whole thing. They made me feel comfortable, and because I was a nurse back home, that helped me again. I was working here as a support worker or assistant in nursing. That experience helped me as well to give all those answers. So overall, it was a very good experience. I worked in rehabilitation ward for 6 months, and then I worked in surgical ward for 6 months. It was a great experience. After my grad nurse program, I applied for a position of RN in cath lab in the same hospital, and I got it. Now I'm a registered nurse in cath lab department, and I'm a happy nurse. I always wanted to come into cardiology unit, and I'm so happy. So I feel I'm so lucky to be working in this department. We have a great team. Our manager is very supportive. We have these team meetings, team building activities going on, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think overall, if I have to give you 2 words, 2 things that you need before you decide to become a nurse is you need to have patience, and number 2 is you need to have passion for nursing. When I started my nursing career or my nursing journey, I didn't know whether I wanted to continue with this because first year was so overwhelming. But as I came to second year, I knew this was what I always wanted to do, and I followed my passion, and I'm a happy nurse now. I love my job. I think it's very rare thing, but I love my job, and the job satisfaction that I get is the best thing in my life, I think, other than my family. If you have watched this video till this point, that means you are interested in nursing profession, or you are an overseas qualified nurse like me and want to come here and practice as RN. If you have any questions related to your Australian process or this profession, please write down in the comment section below, and I will try to give all your answers. The main intention of me starting this series is to provide as much information I can provide, which when I started it wasn't there, it wasn't available, and I had to struggle too much, and I actually ended up losing a couple of years of my life during the whole process, which I don't regret now because I'm happy now. But again, I don't want you to lose precious years of your life due to lack of information or misguidance from various people that you might encounter. So thank you so much guys for watching this video till the end. I know it's a very long video, but it's my journey, so it's a long journey so far. So thank you so much everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.